Before we get started, I want to say hello. My name is Kelly Martin, and welcome to the video on my return to Waverly Hills. Look, that looks like a fist. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. Kool-Aid. So here is me and my oldest daughter, Katie, at Waverly Hills, and we had just got there, really excited and ready to get going. You should know that once you get inside Waverly Hills, you can't take videos unless you're one of the big name people who are going to do a investigation to put on their YouTube channel, TV shows, stuff like that. So the only thing I have is pictures. So I'm just going to tell you about things that happened on the pictures. This is taken on the second floor, right next to the atrium. This is where Waverly Hills used to be a tuberculosis hospital, and part of that is they would wheel people outside of their rooms in their hospital beds, so they had to get so much fresh air a day. The second, third, and fourth floors are all made where you can wheel hospital beds outside, and that is the area that we're standing at right there on the second floor. This is exactly the same spot on the second floor, just turned around. That's what the rooms look like. There were two people to a room, and you can see all the way through to the other side, to the rooms on the other side. Okay, I don't have any pictures on the third floor because by that time it was getting super dark and we couldn't use flash on the third floor or on the fourth floor. This is the second time I've been to Waverly Hills. The first time was in 2019. We had a different tour guide, and on the third floor when we went with her, we couldn't walk. She didn't take us down the third floor. She said there was too many not nice spirits, or they call them permanent residents, which I think is super cool. This permanent residence things, not that there's too many Hainsey ones, but the guy that we had, his name was Uncle John. Uncle John was fantastic, and he took us down the third floor and told us that there was a lot of little kid spirit permanent residents on the third floor, and he was very adamant. He was very passionate that when you come to investigate Waverly Hills, that you don't just talk to Timmy. Timmy is the famous permanent resident on the third floor. He said that there are other children there. He said at least up to 1,000, maybe more, that died there, and he wanted to make sure that all the kids were loved and play. There's like hundreds of balls there for people to play with. So that was his thing. If you go on the third floor and you try to talk to Timmy, just know that there's more than one Timmy there. There's more permanent residents there. The third floor didn't see anything, didn't really feel anything, but it was very cool to get to walk down it because we didn't the last time. The layout is exactly the same as the second floor and the fourth floor, but very interesting. It all has different feelings to it. So that was the third floor. Again, no pictures from the fourth floor. We couldn't use flash. It was getting pretty dark by this time. The fourth floor we had been on before, and the fourth floor is where they let you do a little bit of, you get really still and try to see shadow people. Now this is a little different than it was the second time. We went up a different way, or the first time. We went up a different way, and we went to the OR first. And if you've never been to the operating room at Waverly Hills, it is a completely different feeling from any other part of the building, in my opinion, and my daughter's opinion too, and a lot of other people's opinion. You walk in there, and it's just like this massive, like your chest hurts, and it's like a massive weight comes over your shoulders, and it's just so sad. I think it's even sadder than the morgue. Like, I didn't feel that in any other place in Waverly Hills except the operating room. And that's happened 2 times that we've been there. One of the girls that we were with, she started feeling a really big pain in her chest, and it went with her the whole rest of the trip. Her mother was getting kind of worried about her too. But yeah, the operating room was on the second floor. It's just the strangest feeling of, and you can feel it when you walk in, and you can feel it when you leave. Like, when you leave, it's like, oh, I can breathe again, which is kind of understandable given it was a TB hospital, and they performed a lot of surgeries on your lungs in there to try to save the people. So yeah, that's one of the strangest rooms, not in terms of strange, like it looks like an operating room, but in terms of feelings of in Waverly Hills, I think, is that operating room. Once you go out the operating room, you walk down the fourth floor hallway, and they let you try to see shadow people. I saw things the last time I was there. I didn't see anything this time. He said that maybe the permanent residents just weren't, real talkative, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I do have something to show you at the end, but you have to, they get somebody and they walk down, and you have to try to look through the shadows to see if you see anything. Didn't really see anything then, didn't hear anything then, didn't feel the weight that we did in the operating room. The fourth floor is set up exactly like the third floor, and it's an interesting place. That operating room, I cannot tell you how different it feels in there. It is such a strange feeling. Now we're at the fifth floor. Now he let us use flash. We got to walk around and do our own little investigations, walk around, take our own little pictures. We just had to say flash before we were going to take a picture, which was cool. Very appreciative, because it was dark. You cannot imagine how dark this place is. It's kind of like the black part on the screen, maybe a little bit lighter, but not much, especially when you go back into those rooms. This is room 502, which is one of the most famous rooms in Waverly Hills. Supposedly, there was a nurse that was found hanging around 502. The story is she was found inside 502. Her tour guide this time and last time told us that was not true. They were hanging outside the elevator doors, and I do have a picture of that. But this was 502. This is one of the most apparently active places in the entire Waverly Hills because of the lady. And nobody knows how she, well, they know how, well, actually, don't know how she died. They don't know if her neck was broke before she was hung or after she was hung, if somebody killed her, if she did it herself. You don't know. So the last time we went to Waverly Hills in 2019, it was the first time I ever actually been to a haunted place, which is, you start with Waverly Hills, of course. And when they let us do the walk around, I was nervous. I didn't go into this room, and I didn't go into this room by myself. And I was very mad at myself once it was over because I didn't go into this room. And I promised myself that if I ever got the chance to go back to Waverly Hills, I would go into room 502 by myself. And there was other people walking around, but I made sure that there was nobody else in that room when I went in. And I was surprised by what I saw because I wasn't expecting it. Okay. This is what was inside of 502. It's a bathroom, basically. So I'll show you other pictures of the bathroom when we get to it. But I did not know this was there. I went in. This is not the door that you saw. When you go into the 5th floor, that was where the very terminal patients were. The ones they didn't think were going to get any better. They went to that didn't need the outside lights, basically, or fresh air. Or they didn't think needed it for their health. They took them up to the 5th floor. The 5th floor was divided into the adult side and the kids side, which is incredibly sad. 502 is on the adult side. It's a bathroom. And there's a door in like the foyer area that you can go in. You can also go through the adult side and then go in that way. I went through that way and it was pitch black. Couldn't see anything, but I was very brave. I was brave for me. And I walked in and I was like, okay. And since we could use a flash, which if I didn't get to use a flash, I would have tripped right over this chair because I had no idea it was there. I got my phone out, turned on the flash, took a picture. This lit up. I was shocked that this was there. I would have totally tripped over it. I'm assuming the chair's there for the people that do the overnights. They can sit there and try to get EVPs and, get people to talk to them or the permanent residents to talk to them. So I thought that was really cool and totally unexpected. I was not expecting this chair. No, I did not sit in it. I thought that might be a little much. So there we go. Once you go inside where that chair is, you turn left. This is the rest of the bathroom. They're just bathroom stalls. So not scary. This is the room right next to it. This is 504. I think this is the nurse's station. I think it had cabinets and everything in it, so it might have been a kitchen station or a nurse's station. Right next to it was a little thing that said Brandon was here, which I took a picture of because I took a better picture of it because my husband's name's Brandon, and I thought it was cool. This is the elevator. Of course, it doesn't work anymore, but this is the elevator on the 5th floor. I think it's a double-sided elevator. I think and I think it only opens up on the other side on the 1st floor. But the guy this time didn't tell us the story. This is a room right across from 502. So the story goes that they had found reports where the maintenance man found the nurse hanging from a light fixture outside right when you walk out the doors of this elevator. The Uncle John didn't tell us, but the lady last time told us about a man who was in Waverly Hills before it was a historical society. And he was up there with his dog, and he apparently fell down this elevator shaft and didn't let go of his dog, which he should have let go of his dog. Let's be honest. This is one of the really cool things about Waverly Hills. When you get to the 5th floor, well, the building itself is really cool because it has the gargoyles on top, and you saw the pictures of the gargoyle at the beginning with the music. They were what was up here at the top. They're still up here at the top. One of the cool things, there's a lot of interesting things about it. This is on the children's side, and you look up and you get to go on the roof. And the last tour told us that this is really sad. They had like children's play equipment on that side if they felt like playing, because you can't keep a kid down. I remember my kids had the flu, which TB is way worse than the flu. But when they had the flu and they would want to play, and you're like, no, you need to rest and get better. I can imagine that's how a lot of the kids were on the 5th floor. They were probably tired of being bunched up, and they wanted to play. So they did have a place. There's a place like it on the other side too, on the adult side. But this was on the children's side. I love this picture. It does look like a gargoyle, obviously, but it kind of also looks like Batman looking down at Gotham. So this is one. That I was telling you about the big rooms that were on either side of like the foyer, the main room area. This was the adult side. So this was the opposite side of the children's side where I was before, shooting up at the top. Where I'm standing right here to my right was the entrance to room 502, the bathroom side of 502. And this is where the adult patients would have been who weren't doing very well. So this picture I took because I thought it was incredibly cool. That's just part of it. I think this whole thing, I just love this picture. This is from the children's side. So basically I walked in from getting the gargoyle picture, got right here. It was time to turn the flash off on our camera. I turned my flash off, and we were talking to our tour guide again, and the light was just perfect on this door. I think this is room 506, and it was just framed in the window, and I was like, I want this picture. So I love this picture. It looks ominous, but really it's red because it was an exit sign. It was just an exit sign making it look red, but I thought it made it look interesting. So that's why I like this one. Once we got finished with the 5th floor, we had to walk all the way down to the 1st floor, and then we had to walk down a hallway, and we got to this. This is the morgue. We stood outside and talked about it for a little bit, and then when we went inside the morgue, we got to use our flash again. So that's why you can actually see things in the morgue. When you walked in, pitch black, as everything else in Waverly Hills was. These are, of course, the autopsy beds. They said that I think they said 17% of people that died at Waverly Hills, they did autopsies on. Most people they didn't, because it was tuberculosis. They knew what happened to them. They didn't have to do autopsies. So only about 17% of people were in this room. The rest of them, I think, just went straight out the body chute and went to a hearse and went to a funeral home. So in a hospital the size of Waverly Hills, you would expect more boxes, but they don't have them. They just had 3. This is the refrigeration center. So I can't think of the word right now. I'm so sorry. Of the morgue, that where they kept the bodies cool. They could pull them out. And he said that if we're ever there on our overnight, to lay on the bottom one and just go in there and relax. I don't know. That might be on some other bucket list. I don't know if I want to do that, because I've had nightmares where I have woken up in one of those cabinets and can't get out of it. So I don't know if I really want to do that. I don't want to test fate. But yeah, these were where they kept the bodies of the people that either couldn't get the funeral home there fast enough, or that they needed to do the autopsies on. This picture freaks me out. Since it freaks me out, I'm pretty sure that I will not be able to get into one of these compartments. I don't think I could. This is the inside of the middle box, chamber, bed, morgue area. I didn't know I know I took the picture. I didn't know I took it so perfectly. And where you can't see the outsides in this room. This picture gives me claustrophobia. I don't know if I can. I don't know how people lay on it and go back in there. The ones that do investigating. That's just wow. And this was the last thing in the morgue. It was a gurney that they wheeled people into the morgue with. Oh boy. Okay, we have come to the very last section that we saw at Waverly Hills when we went the first time. It was the first thing we saw. This time was the last thing we saw. Full circle moment. This is the body chute. So if you have ever known anything about Waverly Hills, or have heard anything about Waverly Hills, I'm sure you've heard of 502 and the body chute. This is the body chute. You can't see the end of this tunnel. I think it goes down about 500 feet. I could be wrong, could be more, could be less. I don't know. I just know it's far enough you can't see it with a flashlight and a flash on a camera terrifying. Originally, it was not a body chute. It was they brought supplies in to build the hospital, and then they used it for other things. And then they needed to keep morale high, because if you see hundreds of people or however many people a week or a day not making it, you're going to think maybe this fresh air is not going to help. And they need to keep morale high. So what they did was they used the elevator. They used the back door of the elevator. You went through the morgue, probably didn't stop at the morgue, and then they took you to this area. There's no hospital rooms around this area. There's no hospital rooms on the first floor. And the hearse would come and pull up at the bottom, and they would wheel you down this tunnel and put you in a hearse. Which, I mean, it sounds morbid, but really it was a good system. I wouldn't want to see all that. If I was trying to recover from something, I would like to think in my brain that if my roommate Jennifer, I didn't see her in a few days, I would like to think she got better. I would not like to think something bad happened to her. I could convince myself she got better. She left. She didn't tell me goodbye. She got to go home. She's with her friends and family. I wouldn't have to think about this. So I think it's a good system. It's kind of morbid to think about now, of course, but in the grand scheme of things, it was pretty smart. So by this time, it was very late. It was very late. We did not stay in Louisville. I live about 3 hours from Louisville. So we drove up, we toured for 2 hours, then we had to turn around, and I had to drive home for 3 hours. So I didn't do an exit, an outro or whatever, but I did take this picture of the top floor, the 5th floor of Waverly Hills. And this is this is the rest area coming back at about midnight. Probably not safe, but we survived. It is a very nice rest area. Very nice. Okay, so I have switched myself around, but okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about any kind of paranormal things that I saw at Waverly Hills this time. The last time I went, I felt somebody holding my hand. I saw something, like there was different things. This time, I really didn't see anything. I saw something that I could like be like, okay, I didn't really see that on the 4th floor. I felt that in the OR like normal. But I wanted to give you a little bit of comparison. I don't know if this is good or bad, to be honest. I have a ghost app on my phone. It's called GhostTube. They used it when we went to Thomas' house. It's basically a spirit box that kind of gets into if there's anything around, it's supposed to be able to make it easier to hear the words, whatever. And when you're in Waverly Hills, you can't video and you can't audio record, which I did not do at all. Did not do it. There is an option on GhostTube to press record. I did not do it. There is no recordings. I'm good. I didn't do it. I promise. I didn't do it. I didn't audio record either. But I did have it running. I had it in my pocket, but I didn't have it recording. I couldn't get anything that Uncle John was saying. Please no, I did not record any of it that I wasn't supposed to. But these words pop up that they hear, and I have the free version, so I only get the top 15 words saved. So when we would go to different areas, I would turn it on or turn it off and different things. Okay. The reason I'm telling you all this is look on this side. Sometimes I run it at my house just to run it. I don't know, just to see if it picks up anything. So this was July the 20th at 1 a.m. I had turned it on and I laid my phone down in my bedroom, and I remembered that I needed to take something to the kitchen, apparently a glass of that I had to take to the kitchen. So I just left it on, went in it and put the glasses in the sink, came back. And nobody was talking. Nobody was around. The only thing that was on was my TV, which I don't know if they said any of these words. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that the GhostTube app picks up ghosts, but it's just interesting. And the reason I'm showing you this is to show you something later. But this was an interesting conversation that happened at my house, and I think it's neat to read from the bottom up. I screenshotted this from my TikTok, which is Kelly Martin Author. If you want to see, or is it Kelly Martin Books? I don't remember. It's one or the other. I have it on different things, but I think this is neat. If you start at the bottom and go all the way to the top, it sounds like it's a conversation between Harold and Arthur. Harold, or it's like Arthur can't find Harold. It's like, Harold, no, or not. Lower, are you my friend? Yes, first. Attic, sorry. Attic, Arthur. Just imagine two permanent residents. I imagine Arthur being like, Harold, not lower. Are you a friend? Yes, first. Attic, because we do have an attic. Sorry, attic, Arthur. It's probably weird that I find that funny, but I do. I find it hilarious, and I turn it on every once in a while. This is the most I've ever got on it. It could have just been something, I don't know, but I'm showing you that to show you this. All right, I moved again. This is the only things I picked up at Waverly Hills. This is it. Only 5 things in the whole time. We got there at 8:30. Well, it would have been 8 our time. We got there at 7:30 Central Time. Tour started at 8 Central Time, and that's what my phone stayed on. So, it started. I turned it on when we went to the atrium. I turned it on the 2nd floor. I turned it on the 3rd floor. I turned it on the 4th floor. Turned it on the 5th floor. Turned it on at the 1st floor. Different times. So we're going to go over where I was when each of these things happened. I had this all typed out. I decided just to tell you with words. Are you okay? Happened at 8:50, 8:25, and that's when we first got there. That was on the 2nd floor atrium. I think I already covered that. Brother was about 5 minutes, 3 minutes later. We were out on the 2nd floor. You saw a picture of it where it said Jessica on the floor. We were there, and he was talking about the 2 sisters. I think their names were Helen and Audrey. I could be wrong. And one of them died in Waverly Hills. The next one was Drip. That was when we were walking through the 2nd floor hallway to get to the stairs to get up to the 3rd floor. Then I had this turned on in the 3rd floor. I had this turned on in the 4th floor. I had this turned on in the 5th floor. Nothing came through. Nothing. Which I was like, is my house seriously making this thing go off more than Waverly Hills? We're not going to talk about what that means. We're not. So, anyway, we got down, went down to the 1st floor. I was like, okay, nothing's going to come through. We got to the 1st floor, and I turned it on again at 9:37. This word came through. Do you happen to know where we were? We were at the morgue, which is ironic for something to say, what is your name at a morgue? My name is, I'm not ready to be at this morgue yet. Thank you very much. Then at 9:48, we were standing in the pitch blackness, and I had taken a picture, and I turned on the GhostTube, the spirit box, for one last hurrah, and this popped up, the top one, right there. Guess where we were then? Yeah, we were at the body shoot. Now, there's a lot of things that you can say, but it's just really interesting when that comes up at the body chute, which is literally a downward trajectory for bodies. And hopefully, the permanent residents there don't think that they are in hell. I hope that if there is anybody there, that they are able to find peace and that they're able to have the afterlife that they deserve, because that's sad. It's really sad. It's cool. I say it's cool all the time. It is cool. It's an incredible place. It is a beautiful place. The history, the architecture. The history is not really beautiful, but the architecture is beautiful. It is a beautiful building. And the people that went there for help to get better. It's sad. It is so sad to think about that there's a bunch of kids there, to think about the people that tried to get better there. My grandmother had tuberculosis. I didn't know her. She died before I was born. She had twice. She didn't go to Waverly Hills. She went to the one in Nashville. But you go places like Waverly Hills and you think, oh my gosh, as interesting as it all is, and it's just people. When I say I like going to places like this, I do, because I think they're beautiful. But I also understand the morbid side of it, understand the sad part of it. I understand that if there are people there, and if they said this, and it wasn't just whatever random things my spirit box wanted to tell me, that's sad. That's sad. Especially the very top of the middle. Number 2 scary. I don't want anybody asking for my name at a morgue. Not meaning to be there right now. But the first one, I hope. It makes sense because body chute. But I hope that whoever's there, I hope they're not stuck there, and I hope it's not their personal hell. I really do. So that was our trip to the famous Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a fantastic trip. It was the first time me and my daughter, she's 17, had ever gone to like a spooky place together. She had went with us maybe the last time I went to Waverly Hills. My 2 sisters went that time too. This time it was just me and her. She felt things, she felt chills. But yeah, Waverly Hills, if you ever get a chance to go, take it. Go. It's full of history. They have history tours, they have paranormal tours, they have 6-hour overnight tours, they have all different kinds of things. Be sure to check it out. If you're interested in it, I will leave a link in the description so you will find out how to get tickets to go. If you like videos like this, I know I've changed the name of this channel so much. Now it's Haunted Books with Kelly Martin. If you want to see more places that I go to visit, please like this video so I know you like videos like this. I don't want to, I'm still going to go, obviously. But if you don't want to see it, I'm not going to, inflict videos on you if you don't want to see it. So hit the like button. Tell me in the comments if you like videos like this. Tell me where your big grand place you would love to visit would be. If you have any like bucket list haunted locations you want to go to, tell me about it in the comments. If you went to your bucket list location, would you go in like the freakiest place there? Like Waverly Hills, I overcome my fear and went in room 502. If you went to the Sally house and you were able to, would you go in the basement? If you went, would you? I don't know. So tell me all that in the comments. If I were to go to the Clown Hotel, I just don't know. I think I just drive by it. That's a whole different thing. The other thing we did on my TikTok. If you want to follow me on TikTok, I would love to see you over there. That link's in the description too. I hope you follow along here, and I hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy everything. Well, unless you're not supposed to enjoy it, then don't enjoy it. But hopefully you find things you enjoy.